Fear is a natural part of life, but it's how you face it that defines who you are. Every person feels fear, but not everyone uses it as a stepping stone to greatness. When fear creeps in, don't see it as a weakness, see it as an opportunity. An opportunity to rise, to push through, and to become stronger than you ever imagined. Fear is the mind's way of warning you about the unknown. But the unknown is where greatness lies. Every time you back down from fear, you teach yourself to be less than your potential. I stopped doing that. Instead, face it head on. Fear is like a shadow. It looks bigger than it is, but the closer you get, the smaller it becomes. When you confront your fears, you gain power over them, and that power fuels your growth. Think about the moments in your life when you hesitated because of fear. What did it cost you? What dreams did you leave behind? Let those moments be a lesson, not a life sentence. The moment you decide to act despite fear is the moment you take back control. You're no longer a prisoner of doubt, but a warrior fueled by determination. When you're scared, your body and mind are telling you that you're stepping out of your comfort zone. That's good. That's where you're supposed to be. Comfort zones are cages disguised safety nets. They keep you small, but you're not meant to be small. You're meant to grow, to expand, and to conquer the challenges life throws at you. Fear wants to keep you stagnant. Don't let it. You've got to channel that fear into action. Transform the nervous energy into fuel for progress. Every time you feel afraid, ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? Then ask yourself, what's the best that can happen? 9 times out of 10, the best case scenario outweighs the worst. People often wait for fear to go away before taking action. That's a mistake. Fear doesn't leave until you show it who's boss. Act while you're scared. Move forward even when your legs are shaking and your heart is racing. That's how you build courage. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's taking action despite it. Don't let fear silence your voice. Don't let it steal your dreams. Every step you take into the unknown is a victory over the fear that tries to control you. Fear thrives on hesitation, so don't give it time to grow. Act quickly, move decisively, and remind yourself that fear is temporary, but regret lasts forever. You'll never meet a strong person who hasn't battled their fears. Strength is built in the moments when you refuse to let fear win. It's built in the hours you spend pushing yourself beyond what you thought was possible. Every time you conquer a fear, you add another brick to the foundation of your unbreakable spirit. Life is too short to live in the shadows of fear. The clock is ticking, and every second you waste hesitating is a second you could use to create the life you've always wanted. Time doesn't stop, so why should you? Fear will try to paralyze you, but you have the power to break free. Our life has a way of testing us, often in ways we can't predict. Some people face challenges so immense that they can break even the strongest spirits. Those who endure such trials, however, develop a resilience that is almost unshakable. From an early age, life can push you to the edge, leaving you to decide whether you'll give up or fight back. It's in these moments of pain and struggle that the seeds of greatness are planted. Hardship teaches lessons that comfort never could. Adversity forces you to dig deep within yourself and find strength you didn't know existed. When the odds seem stacked against you and the world feels like it's closing in, that's when you discover who you truly are. No one is born resilient. It's built through a willingness to endure discomfort, pain, and uncertainty. The toughest challenges often provide the clearest path to transformation. Sometimes the battles we face in our own minds are even harder than those in the real world. Overcoming physical or emotional limitations requires more than just effort. It takes relentless mental discipline. There's no easy way to push through adversity, but the process reshapes you. Pain becomes a teacher, showing you the power of grit, perseverance, self-belief. There are moments when fear tries to control you, whispering that the obstacles ahead are too great to overcome. But fear is just a test, a barrier that dares you to prove it wrong. Each time you push through, you unlock a part of yourself that was hidden before. Pain isn't something to be feared, it's something to be harnessed. Those who rise above their struggles learn that their strength comes not from avoiding pain, but from embracing it. This perspective on pain and struggle is what separates those who dream from those who do. Life doesn't hand out rewards for avoiding difficulty, it rewards those who persist despite it. The path forward may not always be clear, but every step through the fire strengthens your resolve. And when you look back, you'll realize that the struggles you endured weren't roadblocks, they were building blocks for the unshakable foundation of who you've become. Fear is often misunderstood. Most people see it as a weakness, something to avoid at all costs. But fear is not your enemy, it's a signal. It tells you that you're stepping out of your comfort zone and into uncharted territory. This is where growth happens, where potential is tested, and where greatness is born. Fear doesn't show up to stop you. It shows up to prepare you for what lies ahead. When you feel fear, it's easy to mistake it for a sign to retreat, but it's the opposite. Fear is your mind's way of telling you that you're about to face something that matters. It's an indicator that the stakes are high and that you're moving towards something meaningful. Instead of running from it, lean into it. Fear challenges you to rise above your doubts and to prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you think. Growth is never found in the familiar. When you stay where it's safe and comfortable, you don't give yourself the chance to evolve. Fear nudges you toward the edge of what you know, urging you to take that leap into the unknown. It's in these moments of uncertainty that you discover new strengths, new abilities, and a deeper understanding of what you're truly capable of. Fear is the gateway to transformation. Some of the greatest achievements in life are born from the decision to push through fear. Every time you face it head on, you become stronger. The act of confronting fear, moving forward despite the discomfort, builds resilience. It's not about erasing fear, it's about using it. Each step into the unknown becomes easier because you've trained yourself to see fear as an opportunity rather than a threat. Fear is not there to hold you back, it's there to shape you. It forces you to confront your limits and expand beyond them. When you start to see fear as a tool for growth, it loses its power to paralyze you. The next time fear shows up, don't hesitate. Step forward, embrace the discomfort, and remind yourself that fear is just the beginning of the journey to something greater. Fear thrives in avoidance. The more you try to dodge it, the stronger it grows, feeding on hesitation and self-doubt. The only way to weaken fear is by confronting it directly. When you choose to face your fears head on, you reclaim the power it tries to steal from you. Every step toward fear, no matter how small, is a victory over the mental barriers that hold you back. Facing fear isn't easy, but it's necessary if you want to unlock your full potential. Pushing your limits is uncomfortable, but it's also where transformation happens. When you confront the things you fear, you begin to discover how much more you're capable of. Growth doesn't happen when life is easy or when you're coasting along in your comfort zone. It happens when you choose to challenge yourself, to step into the unknown, and to face the things that make your heart race. That discomfort isn't a sign to stop, it's a sign that you're in exactly the right place. Avoiding fear keeps you stuck. It builds a wall between you and the person you're meant to become. But every time you face a fear, you chip away at that wall. Fear loses its grip when you take action despite it. In those moments, you're not just overcoming fear, you're building mental toughness. You're teaching yourself that no obstacle, no matter how intimidating, is too great for you to conquer. The more you face your fears, the stronger you become. Each challenge you overcome reinforces your confidence and reduces the power fear holds over you. It's a process of training your mind to trust in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. The same fear that once paralyzed you becomes the fuel that propels you forward. With every battle against fear, you become more resilient, more capable, and more determined. Fear doesn't go away completely, but it changes when you stop running from it. Instead of being a barrier, it becomes a stepping stone. Facing your fears head on doesn't just shape your mindset, it redefines your identity. You no longer see yourself as someone who avoids challenges, but as someone who meets them with courage. And as you take on each new challenge, you're setting the stage for even greater victories ahead. Fear only has the power you allow it to have. When you avoid it, fear grows larger in your mind, creating barriers that seem impossible to break through. But when you confront it, fear begins to shrink. Each time you step toward what scares you, it loses its ability to control you. The act of facing fear isn't just about overcoming the moment. It's about reclaiming your strength and building confidence that lasts a lifetime. Fear often appears much bigger than it really is. It magnifies your doubts, amplifies your insecurities, and whispers that you're not capable. But the moment you take action, even if it's just a small step, you begin to see the truth. Fear thrives on hesitation, but it crumbles in the face of courage. The more you confront it, the more you realize that fear is often just a shadow of the real challenge, not the challenge itself. Growth is a byproduct of facing fear. Each time you step into the discomfort of the unknown, you grow stronger mentally and emotionally. Facing fear builds resilience. It trains your mind to stay calm under pressure and to keep pushing forward even the odds seem stacked against you. Over time, what once seemed impossible becomes routine. The fears that once stopped you in your tracks become stepping stones to greater achievements. When you avoid fear, it controls your life. It decides which opportunities you take, which risks you avoid, and how much of your potential you realize. But when you confront fear, the script changes. You're no longer a passive observer, you're in control. Each time you take action in the face of fear, you prove to yourself that you're capable of more. It's not about erasing fear, it's about learning to work with it and using it as a tool for growth. Facing fear is a habit that builds over time. Each time you confront it, you reinforce the belief that you can handle more than you thought. It's a mindset shift that ripples through every area of your life. As fear becomes smaller and your confidence greener, stepping into challenges that once felt out of reach. And in those moments, you'll realize that fear was never the enemy, it was the catalyst for your transformation. Comfort zones are often perceived as safe havens where one can avoid risk and pain. However, in reality, they act as invisible cages that trap growth and limit potential. When we remain in these zones, we deceive ourselves into thinking we're protecting ourselves, but what we're truly doing is stagnating. The very nature of comfort keeps us from experiencing the challenges that would otherwise shape us into stronger, more capable individuals. The longer we stay within these self-imposed boundaries, the more we hinder our capacity to grow. When we step outside of our comfort zones, we invite discomfort, fear, and uncertainty into our lives. These feelings are often seen as obstacles, but in truth, they are signs of progress. By confronting what scares us, we challenge the narrative that has kept us small. It's in these uncomfortable moments that true transformation begins. Every step taken outside the familiar forces us to act, to evolve, and to confront the limits we took for unbreakable. Real transformation doesn't occur when we're at ease, it happens in the moments. When we push past the urge to turn back and instead continue moving forward. It's in the struggle, the discomfort, and the pain that we discover our inner strength. The power to grow lives and the willingness to embrace these challenges head on, regardless of the fear that might accompany them. The discomfort you feel is a sign that you're expanding, that you're on the edge of something greater than what you were before. Moreover, every time we step out of our comfort zones, we prove to ourselves that we are capable of handling more than we initially thought. Each challenge faced and each fear overcome builds confidence and resilience, reinforcing the belief that we are stronger than our doubts. This constant expansion of our limits equips us to handle even bigger obstacles in the future. The more we push ourselves, the more we realize that the boundaries we once feared are simply illusions. Growth then becomes a continuous cycle, a process where each step outside the comfort zone builds upon the last. Embracing discomfort becomes second nature as we understand that it is not a sign of weakness, but of evolution. Over time, stepping into the unknown becomes less intimidating and more empowering. The more we break free from the cages of comfort, the more we realize that the real limitations lie not in the world around us, but in our minds. And with that, we unlock the true potential that was always within us. Fear is often viewed as a negative force, something that holds us back from achieving our true potential. However, when you change the way you view fear, it can become one of your greatest allies. Instead of allowing it to paralyze you, you can learn to harness it as a powerful motivator. Fear is a natural response to the unknown, but it's also a signal that you're on the verge of something great. When faced with fear, you're standing on the threshold of growth and transformation. Rather than running from it, you can turn it into the very energy that propels you forward. One of the most powerful aspects of fear is the adrenaline rush that comes with it. This surge of energy sharpens your senses. and enhances your focus, providing you with an intensity that can be channeled into achieving extraordinary feats. Fear, when embraced, becomes a tool that sharpens your mind and body, helping you tap into your inner strength. This energy can propel you through moments of doubt, exhaustion, and uncertainty, enabling you to push past limits you never thought possible. It transforms fear from something that debilitates into something that accelerates your growth. This mindset allows you to see fear not as an obstacle, but as a stepping stone to greatness. The adrenaline that fear provides pushes you beyond your comfort zone, breaking down barriers you once believed were insurmountable. It's this fuel that helps you stay focused on your goals, even when the path ahead seems daunting. By choosing to face fear head-on, you unlock a level of energy and determination that's often hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be tapped into when you need it most. Fear also serves as a catalyst for breaking through self-imposed limits. Every time you step into the unknown, you confront the very fears that have held you back in the past. This confrontation allows you to gain mastery over those fears, proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you once thought. Fear forces you to level up, to find strength you didn't know you had. It challenges your sense of what's possible, urging you to take risks and embrace uncertainty in pursuit of your highest potential. In the end, fear becomes less of a barrier and more of a driving force. When you've learned to transform fear into pull, it no longer holds you back, but pushes you forward. The more you face fear and harness its power, the more you realize that your limits are not as fixed as they once seemed. With each victory over fear, you strengthen your resolve and deepen your belief in your ability to achieve greatness. This cycle of overcoming fear and using it as fuel creates a momentum that propels you toward continuous growth and achievement. Waiting for fear to disappear before taking action is a common mistake many make when faced with challenging situations. Fear is a natural response to uncertainty and discomfort, and expecting it to vanish before making a move is unrealistic. The truth is, fear may never fully disappear, but that doesn't mean you have to wait for it to subside before taking the first step. In fact, the key to overcoming fear lies in acting despite it. Each time you move forward in the face of fear, you train yourself to handle it, and in time, it loses some of its power over you. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to take action in its presence. It's easy to wait for a moment when fear feels manageable or for the perfect conditions to act. But those moments rarely come. The real growth happens when you make the choice to move forward, even when your heart races and your mind is filled with doubt. By taking action, you demonstrate to yourself that fear doesn't control you. It's in these moments of action that courage is forged, one step at a time. When you act despite fear, you prove to yourself that you can handle discomfort. The more you act in the presence of fear, the more you realize that the feeling itself isn't something to be feared, but something to be navigated. Each small act of bravery builds upon the last, creating a foundation of confidence and strength. The fear that once seemed overwhelming becomes something you recognize as part of the process, not something that stops you from moving forward. With each action you take, fear loses its grip on you, allowing you to grow stronger and more resilient. In many ways, fear can be a signal that you're pushing your boundaries and stepping into new territory. It's a sign that you're doing something that challenges you, something that has the potential to transform you. Instead of avoiding it, you can choose to embrace it as a reminder that you're about to break through your limits. By choosing to act in spite of fear, you move closer to your goals, breaking through barriers that once seemed unmovable. Fear becomes a companion in the journey, pushing you toward higher achievements. In essence, the act of moving forward despite fear is what creates lasting change. Fear doesn't just vanish, but your ability to act despite it becomes stronger and more ingrained with each experience. This process of continuous action in the face of fear transforms the way you approach challenges. It reshapes how you view fear itself, not as something that should stop you, but as something that propels you forward, urging you to take the next step toward greatness. Fear is often seen as something that holds us back, but when viewed through a different lens, it can become one of our greatest sources of motivation. The truth is, fear is a natural response to the unknown, and rather than running from it, we can choose to harness its power. Fear can drive us to take action, push through challenges and break through mental and physical barriers. Instead of allowing fear to paralyze us, we can use it as fuel to propel us toward our highest potential. By transforming fear into something that motivates us, we can achieve things we once thought impossible. One of the most powerful aspects of fear is the adrenaline rush that comes with it. This surge of energy can sharpen our focus, heighten our awareness, and give us the strength to continue when our bodies and minds are telling us to quit. When faced with fear, our bodies instinctively release a burst of energy, preparing us to face whatever challenge lies ahead. By learning to channel this energy, we can access a level of focus and determination that pushes us beyond what we thought was possible. Fear becomes less of a hindrance and more of a catalyst for extraordinary performance. Harnessing the energy from fear requires a shift in perspective. Rather than seeing fear as something to avoid, we can learn to welcome it as a sign that we are pushing beyond our comfort zones and growing. Every time we step into the unknown, we face new challenges and uncertainties that provoke fear. But with the right mindset, this fear becomes an indicator that we are on the edge of breakthrough. It's in these moments of fear that we have the opportunity to rise to the occasion and show ourselves what we're truly capable of. As we face fear and use it as fuel, we begin to notice that it pushes us to break through self-imposed boundaries. Fear forces us to confront our limitations and defy them. It encourages us to test our resilience and fortitude, ultimately proving to ourselves that we can handle more than we believed. Each time we conquer fear, we create a new threshold for what is possible. And the boundaries that once seemed unmovable become nothing more than stepping stones toward our goals. Fear becomes the very thing that drives us to exceed our expectations. In the end, turning fear into fuel is not about eliminating fear, but learning to control it. The more we face our fears and use them as a source of motivation, the more we build the mental strength to take on even bigger challenges. Fear is no longer something that stands in our way. It becomes the very force that pushes us forward, encouraging us to strive for more, to break through limitations, and to achieve greatness. This ongoing cycle of confronting fear, using it as fuel, and reaching new heights ultimately shapes who we are and what we can accomplish. Fear thrives on hesitation. When faced with a difficult decision or challenge, the longer we wait, the more fear starts to creep in. The moment we hesitate, we give fear a chance to grow, to magnify its presence in our minds. Our doubts and insecurities begin to amplify, making the task seem even more daunting. Hesitation breeds uncertainty, which only strengthens the grip that fear has over us. The longer we delay, the harder it becomes to take that first step. This cycle of fear and hesitation traps us, preventing us from making progress. However, decisive action is the antidote to hesitation. When we move forward quickly and with purpose, we cut off the power that fear gains through delay. The act of making a decision and taking immediate action robs fear of its ability to control us. By pushing through the initial discomfort and uncertainty, we begin to gain momentum. The fear that once seemed overwhelming starts to dissipate as we take command of the situation. The faster we act, the more we realize that fear cannot keep up with our determination and speed. One of the most powerful aspects of decisive action is that it forces us to focus on the task at hand. When we hesitate, our minds often race with a million what-ifs, amplifying our fears and anxieties. But when we act decisively, we shift our focus to the present moment, bypassing the noise of fear. Every move we make is a statement of confidence, a refusal to let hesitation control our actions. As we stay focused on what needs to be done, we realize that fear becomes less about the outcome and more about the journey we're choosing to undertake. The key to taking decisive action is trusting in ourselves and our ability to adapt to whatever comes our way. It's easy to be paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong decision, but the truth is no action is perfect. By moving forward with purpose, we give ourselves the chance to learn and grow from the experience, even if things don't go as planned. It's through these experiences that we gain the wisdom and resilience to keep pushing forward. Every action, no matter how small, reinforces our belief in our own ability to overcome fear. In the end, hesitation only feeds the fear that holds us back. The longer we wait, the more fear takes root, making it harder to act. But when we take decisive action, we take away fear's power, turning it into a force that propels us forward. The quicker and more purposefully we move, the less control fear has over us, and the closer we get to achieving our goals. Every decision to act in the face of fear builds our confidence and teaches that hesitation is not all the action is. By embracing this mindset, we free ourselves to move towards success without the weight of fear holding us back. The first step in applying the lessons of turning fear into fuel is to identify your personal fears and challenges. Everyone faces their own unique set of obstacles, whether they are internal like self-doubt and insecurity, or external, such as difficult circumstances or challenges in the pursuit of goals. The key to overcoming these barriers is acknowledging them. Only when you clearly define your fears can you begin to address them. It's easy to avoid what scares us, but the real power lies in confronting those fears directly, recognizing them for what they are, and understanding how they are holding you back. This awareness is the first step toward turning fear into a source of strength. Once you've identified your fears, it's time to develop a strategy to confront them head on. This means planning how you will take action despite the discomfort, rather than waiting for the fear to subside. It's not about eliminating fear, but rather deciding that you will not let it control your actions. This strategy could involve gradually exposing yourself to the fear in manageable steps, or taking bold, decisive actions that push you far beyond your comfort zone. No matter the approach, the key is to move with purpose and consistency, even when the fear feels overwhelming. Each step taken in the face of fear is a victory that builds your confidence and strengthens your resolve. In the process of confronting your fears, you will inevitably encounter discomfort. The temptation is to shy away from this discomfort to avoid the hard work and emotional strain it may bring. But real growth occurs when you embrace that discomfort and use it as fuel to propel you forward. Every time you push through discomfort, you build resilience, endurance, and mental toughness, rather than seeing discomfort as an obstacle. Shift your mindset to see it as a tool that sharpens your focus, heightens your determination, and drives you toward your goals. By embracing discomfort, you transform it into a powerful motivator that propels you towards success. This process of embracing discomfort and using it as fuel requires a mindset shift. It's easy to view fear and discomfort as things to avoid, but once you see them as essential components of growth, they lose their power to paralyze you. In fact, the more you face fear, the more you realize that discomfort is not the enemy, it's the catalyst for your transformation. Every time you push past the feeling of fear, you reinforce the idea that you are capable of handling anything that comes your way. This continual process of action and adaptation creates a momentum that drives you toward your goals, even when the path is difficult. As you apply these lessons and confront your fears, you will notice that your growth accelerates. The fears that once seemed insurmountable become stepping stones toward your success. By strategically confronting your fears, embracing the discomfort, and using it to fuel your pursuit of goals, you create a powerful cycle of growth and achievement. Each time you move past a fear, you unlock a deeper level of strength and resilience within yourself, proving that your potential is far greater than any fear that may try to hold you back. This process, when practiced consistently, leads to lasting transformation and achievement. Fear can be a powerful force, but one of the most important truths to remember is that it is temporary. The intensity of fear may feel overwhelming in the moment, but it rarely lasts forever. When we face a challenge, fear can seem like a massive obstacle, something that stands between us and our goals. However, as we take action and push through it, we often find that the fear begins to fade and the discomfort that once seemed unbearable starts to diminish. Fear is fleeting, it comes and goes, and the more we face it, the less power it holds over us. The key is to recognize that fear is not permanent, and by moving forward, we can outlast it. On the other hand, regret is a far more lasting and painful emotion. While fear fades with time and action, the regret of missed opportunities lingers. The feeling of wishing you had taken action, of letting fear dictate your choices, can stay with you for a lifetime. Regret stems from the realization that you let fear hold you back from pursuing what truly mattered. It's the quiet voice inside that reminds you of the chances you didn't take, the dreams you didn't chase, and the potential you left untapped. This kind of regret doesn't fade, it grows stronger over time, becoming a weight that you carry with you. In those moments of fear, when you're standing on the edge of a decision that could change your life, it's easy to let fear dictate your actions. But it's essential to remember that the cost of letting fear stop you is far greater than the temporary discomfort it causes. When you choose to move past fear, even when it's hard, you open yourself up to opportunities for growth, success, and fulfillment. On the other hand, when you let fear control your actions, you risk living with the haunting question of what if. The pain of regret from not taking action can be far more damaging in the long run than the discomfort of facing your fears head on. The choice between fear and regret is one that we all face at different points in our lives. It's easy to look at a difficult situation and decide that the fear is too great, that it's safer to stay where we are. But the truth is, safety often leads to stagnation. The regret of not pushing ourselves, of letting fear win, is the true danger. We were not made to live small lives, confined by the boundaries of our own fears. It's when we push through those fears and take action that we discover what we're truly capable of. The fear we face in these moments is just a passing feeling, while the regret of never trying can stay with us forever. As you move forward and face your fears, always keep in mind that the fear you feel is temporary, but the regret of missed opportunities will stay with you far longer. Every decision to act, despite fear, is a victory over the potential for regret. When you choose to chase your dreams, to push past the limits fear sets before you, you unlock a future that is far richer and more fulfilling than one defined by hesitation. The fear you feel today will pass, but the satisfaction of knowing you took action and pursued what truly matters will last a lifetime. Embrace the discomfort, face your fears, and let them propel you toward the life you're meant to live. Fear can often feel like a barrier, something that stands in the way of progress, but it can also be a powerful force when harnessed correctly. The energy that fear generates, the racing heart, the heightened senses, the burst of adrenaline, is not something to be feared, but something to be used. When faced with fear, many people freeze, allowing it to paralyze them. But there's a better way. Instead of allowing fear to control you, you can use it as a source of energy that propels you forward. Fear doesn't have to be something that holds you back. It can be the very thing that pushes you to act, to push harder, and to go further than you ever thought possible. The key to turning fear into fuel is recognizing the energy it provides. That rush of adrenaline, that quickened heartbeat, signals that you are stepping into new territory, that you are about to do something that challenges you. Instead of shying away from it, you can choose to channel it into action. The energy that fear provides is an invitation to move faster, to push through obstacles, and to take bold, decisive steps. By reframing fear as a source of energy rather than a hindrance, you allow yourself to tap into a new level of motivation that drives you forward instead of holding you back. When you embrace fear and use it as fuel, you can act with greater intensity and purpose. Fear often arises when we are about to take on something new or difficult, something that stretches us beyond our comfort zone. In these moments, it's easy to let fear stop us, but when we use that fear as fuel, we gain the strength to act faster and more decisively. Fear can sharpen your focus, increase your sense of urgency, and help you cut through distractions. It turns hesitation into immediate action, propelling you forward with a sense of purpose and determination, rather than giving in to the hesitation that fear often causes. You can push forward with a sense of urgency, knowing that the energy you feel is there to guide you towards success. The power of fear as fuel also lies in its ability to motivate you to push harder than you thought possible. When we are afraid, we are often on the edge of facing challenges that require us to dig deep and find new levels of strength. Fear urges us to reach for more, to go beyond what we've done before, and to stretch our limits. Instead of letting fear hold you back, use it to push through the moments of doubt and exhaustion. When fear is transformed into fuel, you tap into an almost superhuman ability to achieve more than you originally thought possible. It's a powerful motivator that pushes you beyond your comfort zone and encourages you to rise to the occasion, no matter how daunting the task. In the end, turning fear into fuel is a mindset shift, choosing to see fear not as something to avoid, but as something to embrace. When you harness the energy that fear creates, you unlock a new level of drive and determination. Fear becomes a catalyst for growth, a source of power that propels you toward your goals. Rather than letting fear control your decisions and actions, you use it to fuel your progress. With this mindset, fear becomes a tool for achieving more, pushing harder, and ultimately reaching the success you've been striving for. The more you practice using fear as fuel, the more you will realize that it can become one of your greatest allies in the pursuit of greatness. Remember, fear only has as much power as you give it. Starve your fear by feeding your courage. Take that first step, no matter how small it feels, because that first step leads to the second, then the third, and before you know it, you're running toward your dreams. You don't compare yourself to others. Your journey is yours. Some people may seem fearless, but everyone battles something. What sets the great apart is their ability to turn fear into fuel. You can do that too. It's not about being fearless, it's about being relentless. Every time fear tells you to stop, use it as a signal to keep going. Every time it whispers doubts in your ear, shout back with action. But to yourself that fear doesn't own you. You own fear. You're in control, not it. You got one life, just one. Don't let fear dictate how you live it. Don't let it decide which dreams you chase or which goals you achieve. You're better than that. You're stronger than that. Use fear as your compass, as pointing you toward the things that matter most. Take a deep breath and step forward. Keep stepping, even when the path is uncertain. Trust yourself. You're capable of more than you know. And fear is just the obstacle standing between you and your potential. Break through it. If you're feeling fired up right now, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Hit that like button, share this message with someone who needs it. Let's spread the fire and inspire and inspire to turn their fears into fuel. Your journey isn't over. It's just beginning. So get up, get moving, and show the world what happens when you refuse to back down. Fear is no match for a relentless spirit. Let's go.